Hey everyone, and welcome. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today. Let's just dive right into this. Today, we're going to take a really close look at a brilliant piece of classic storytelling. Throughout this explainer, we're going to break down the timeless fable of the old lion and the fox. But we aren't just going to read you a story. We're going to analyze it as an absolute masterclass in observation, strategy, and deception. We'll pull apart the exact mechanics of how a trap is set, how naive trust is exploited, and ultimately, how critical thinking can literally save your life.
So, right off the bat, before we get into the narrative, I want you to ask yourself this. Can you spot a deadly trap before it's too late? It's a heavy question, right? I mean, we all like to think of ourselves as observant, as people who can read a room or sense danger. But as you'll see in the source material we're unpacking today, deadly traps rarely ever look like traps. They usually look like an opportunity to help a friend, a moment to show sympathy, or just a perfectly innocent invitation. So keep this in the back of your mind as we navigate through the story today. Ask yourself if you possess the critical observation skills required to survive a masterfully disguised deception.
All right, part one, the lion's dilemma.
To really get how this trap works, we first have to understand the mastermind behind it. We need to set the scene by looking at our main antagonist in the grim, undeniable reality he's facing. The source text explicitly tells us about a lion who lived in a forest and had grown very old. Notice the stark contrast here between his former state, when he was inherently strong and a highly capable hunter, and his current, sad reality. In old age, the lion's teeth and claws were entirely worn down. Because of this physical deterioration, he couldn't hunt for food anymore. This is a genuinely desperate situation. The apex predator of the forest is suddenly completely unable to rely on his physical strength to survive. He's facing starvation. And this dilemma is the catalyst for everything that follows. Because, when brute strength fails, a totally new strategy is required.
Which leads us directly to section 2, setting the deadly trap. So, how does a desperate, starving predator adapt to his newfound weakness? He pivots from physical force to psychological manipulation. Let's break down this beautifully calculated, yet totally sinister three-step plan. Step 1, he pretended to be sick. This is absolutely crucial because it completely masks his true intent. Sickness invites pity, right? Not fear. Step 2, he sent a message to everyone in the village, summoning them to come and visit him. He casts a massive net here, ensuring a steady stream of potential victims. And finally, step 3, devour the sympathetic visitors. By playing on the empathy of the other animals, the lion brilliantly engineers a situation where his prey willingly walks right into his own home. He doesn't have to hunt, he literally just has to wait.
And you know what? The plan worked flawlessly. The source details this tragic pattern of naive animals falling blindly into the trap. First up, we have the goat. The very next day after the summons went out, the goat came to the lion's cave specifically to offer its sympathy. But the second the goat walked in, the lion caught and ate him. Then a deer came to the cave the following day. The action taken was exactly the same. The deer simply walked right into the cave. And the ultimate fate was identical. The lion caught him and ate him as well. They were completely 100% disarmed by the illusion of the lion's vulnerability.
There is this one single sentence from the source material that is just chilling. One by one, the lion ate the animals who came to visit him. I really want to emphasize the terrifying efficiency of this strategy. The lion has successfully inverted the natural order of things. Instead of expending energy chasing prey through the forest, multiple animals are becoming victims of their own blind trust. They are essentially delivering themselves as meals, all because they fail to look past the surface-level narrative the lion presented to them.
Okay, moving on to section 3, the observant fox.
So here comes our protagonist, the clever fox. He walks up to the exact same scenario, the exact same cave, and the exact same sick lion, but with a completely different mindset than the goat or the deer. So the million-dollar question is this: how did the fox survive? We already know the trap is highly effective, right? We know the lion has successfully eaten multiple visitors. So I want you to pivot for a second from just following the narrative to actively analyzing the mechanics of survival. What did the fox do differently that allowed him to walk away from a deadly situation?
Well, the fox employs 3 initial calculated actions. First, the source notes that the fox was very cautious. He absolutely refused to let empathy override his basic survival instincts. Second, and honestly most practically important, he stood at a safe distance from the cave. He did not cross the threshold. By maintaining that physical distance, the fox gave himself a crucial tactical advantage. He retained his ability to escape. And third, from that safe distance, he inquired politely about the lion's health. He engages with the lion's narrative, he plays along, but entirely on his own terms.
Now, of course, the lion isn't going to give up easily. Seeing the fox hesitating outside, the lion makes this incredibly smooth countermove to maintain the deception. He replies that he is very well indeed, and then issues a direct invitation. Step in for a moment. It's a gentle, seemingly harmless request. The lion is desperately trying to close that physical distance the fox so carefully established. He wants to coax the fox out of his defensive posture and right into the kill zone.
And this brings us to the absolute peak of this explainer. The fox wisely stays outside, thanks the lion kindly for the invitation, and then delivers this brilliant piece of deduction based entirely on physical evidence. He says, "I should be glad to do as you ask, but I have noticed that there are too many footprints leading to your cave, but there are no marks of anyone coming out." I mean, wow. The fox didn't need to see the lion's teeth. He didn't need to peek inside the cave to look for bones. He simply looked down at the dirt. He read the environment. He noticed the data right in front of him. Footprints going in, none coming out, and correctly deduced the grim reality.
And then, the fox masterfully corners the lion with undeniable logic. He drops this absolute mic drop of a question. Please tell me, how do your visitors find their way out? It's a completely unanswerable question for the lion. With this single sentence, the fox strips away the entire illusion. He proves unequivocally that the deadly deception is over. He forces the lion to realize that his master trap has been fully exposed by someone who simply paid attention to their surroundings.
The aftermath is swift. First, the lion realizes he cannot fool the fox, who, the source notes, is very wise too. The jig is up. Second, because he maintained his distance, the fox safely retreats. But here's the best part. He doesn't just save himself. The third action is vital. The fox goes back and tells everyone in the village what the lion is actually doing. His keen observation not only saved his own life, but systematically dismantled the lion's threat to the entire remaining animal community.
And that brings us to Section 4, the ultimate moral.
We've analyzed the trap, the deception, and the strategy of survival. So let's distill this ancient fable into a critical, actionable takeaway that you can apply directly to how you process the world around you. The source text leaves us with a very clear, explicit definition of the moral. The fox was saved only because he learned from the mistakes of others. True wisdom, in the context of this explainer, isn't just about being book smart. It's about surviving by reading the literal and metaphorical signs left by those who went before you. The goat and the deer perished because they operated on blind trust. The fox lived because he observed the consequences of their actions, represented by those one-way footprints, and adjusted his own behavior accordingly.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question to chew on. Whose footprints are you following today? Think about it. In your life, your decisions, your investments, or your relationships, are you blindly walking into a cave just because someone politely invited you in? Or are you taking a step back, standing at a safe distance, and looking closely at the path to see if anyone has actually made it back out? Observation is your greatest tool. Use it wisely. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this fascinating material, and I really hope this analysis helps you navigate your own path just a little more carefully.